Um, so these are my cleats. This year, finally been able to, well, I have two pairs, but I only brought in one. I'm doing Fill Up to Play 60 again, and then these are my foundation cleats, the Justin Simmons Foundation, which anyone that knows me knows I'm extremely excited about that. Both my wife and myself, this has been a work in progress now for the past 4 years. And so our foundation is just anything to do with our youth, like empowering, educating. I've always been a big, how do I say, proponent for our youth, just because they're our future. As you saw in the cleats, it even says our youth is our future. And I feel like it's important to invest in them as such, because you never know what someone's going to grow up to be, and how much influence they're going to have on, the next generation and things like that. And, also just trying to have everyone start off on an equal ground. You get brought into the world in unfortunate circumstances. And, my wife and I just feel like it's our calling to be able to kind of level the playing field and help out anyone that we can. So it's always been a passion of ours, obviously our youth. So I'm really excited about these. These are really special, obviously being the first ones, but.
All right, Arnie, would you lead us off?
Yeah. Hey, Justin. My Cause My Cleats has become bigger and bigger every year. And I know that this has been a wacky season, but I'm wondering if guys were, this week excited for the big reveals and maybe to compare cleats. I know the artwork has gotten better and better, and it's really kind of taken off in your career.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I know this year, like you said, this year has been crazy, but this is something that you always look forward to, because it's a way to kind of just personalize, what you care about. And it really, I think it puts a kind of like that humanity level back into the players. It's like, hey, here's some, more than just football players. Here are the things that we care about. Here are the things that are close, that hits home. And a lot of guys, for My Cause My Cleats, almost every guy that has a cause that they're, representing on their cleats, or they're donating all the funds to, it hits close to home. And so it's important to do it. And Bree's amazing. Bree's the one that does all of our, I know you probably can't, but Bree's the one that does all the custom cleats. And she's been doing an amazing job. It's, she's just awesome, always helping us out. She does most of the cleats that the guys have. So.
Thanks,
Brandon.
Justin, with your foundation, you said you've been working on it for 4 years, and I think you've been at every teammate's events forever. How much does that help you shape what you're trying to do? I mean, your attendance has to be the highest. And how much does this year stink that you've had to mute some of the stuff that your foundation was probably planning on doing if it was a normal year?
Yeah, no, it definitely stinks. It's twofold of why I'd like to go. The most important one is obviously to support. Like I said, having the guys that have their certain events and their foundational causes, those, their foundation means a lot to them. And any support you can get from your teammates is, highly appreciated. And so I always want to make sure I show up and support. But secondly, guys like Vaughn, B-Mac, Chris over the years, just going to their events and seeing how successful those are, the people that you want to connect with, how to run things, how to get it done, and why their foundations are so successful, year after year after year. And so, those are the things that I like to go look at and see oh, this is a neat idea. This is something that, I'd like to incorporate, or, oh, this is cool, but maybe it just doesn't fit my style of what I want to do. But, it stinks not being able to be there, this year, because it's a big part of what I like to do, and it kind of takes your mind off of football a little bit. So.
Yeah, and Justin, I just wanted to follow up on that. Going back to the start of the pandemic, you mentioned you are always so involved in the community, but aren't able to be out in the community as much this year just because of the COVID protocols. But so when it started, what did you and your wife say? Okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to continue to kind of put our mission forward, knowing that you were going to have to do it in a different way? What was sort of the mechanisms behind that?
Yeah, the biggest proponent behind it was kind of just we know we are going to have to be on a lot of Zoom calls and or like not that we had to be, but like we'd want to be because that's the next best thing you can do. And it stinks because anytime you get any face-to-face interaction, like you just mentioned, it goes so much above and beyond like a phone call or even Zoom. It just feels like a phone call, and so it's just been so much different. But trying to find the value still in Zoom and maybe even one-on-one meetings. And, a lot of the times, especially in today's world, like, we had my foundation, we just did 31 for the holidays and, just my foundation supporting 31 families, during this, what's been a crazy year, not everyone being able to support or to be able to do what they want to do for their families in the holidays. And so like things like that, just trying to be able to be engaged as much as we can, but with also like, all the protocols that we have and things in that nature, it's just been tough. It goes against everything that I'd like to do, but it's been tough.
Next one, Ryan.
Hey, Justin, you've faced the Chiefs a bunch of times now. How much of a challenge is it for that deep safety not to fall for Mahomes' head fakes, pump fakes, eyes one way, throws the other?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. He's he's one of the best, in the game at especially in throwing the deep ball, and he has, the weapons to be able to do it. And that's the thing is he utilizes all of them. Obviously, we know about, Hill and Kelsey, but, Robinson, Watkins, all the guys, and then they got a good running game now. And just the utility that he has, and he's able to, utilize them at every position. And so it keeps your defense honest. And you got to be able to have great eyes. Got to be able to have great eyes, and you got to be able to not be afraid to make plays on the ball when they're in the air because he's shown he's not afraid to throw it. So,
Next one, Jeff.
Justin, following up on that, what Ryan just asked you, you guys haven't beaten them in your tenure here or in your time with the team. What is some of the most important things you think have to happen from a football perspective for you guys to control that offense? I mean, everybody talks about it, but what are some of the really specific things that have to happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's you got to be able to the number one important thing is you got to be able to have takeaways. You're not going to be able to have, they're a great offense. They have a great offensive scheme. Like I said, I just, named the guys and what they do really well. And so the biggest thing is you're going to have to be able to have takeaways because even when you see like, you go back and you look at the AFC Championship game, or I mean the semifinal game, and they were down 24-0, and then before halftime it was like tied or they were up by a touchdown. Like they can score in an instant, so you got to be able to have takeaways. And in that game, the Texans had a special teams touchdown. They were doing a good job offensively moving the ball, but they had a couple takeaways. Like those are the things on the defensive side of the ball. Like we got to be able to produce, to set our offense up on a short field, take the ball away from, them moving down the field. And then when they do hit the red zone, sometimes the victory is just holding them to 3, getting 3 points there and then getting off the field, having your offense move the football again. But the number one thing is takeaways. That's going to be the biggest thing in this game is the defense has to find ways to generate takeaways for our offense.
Guys, time for a few more. Next one, Zach.
Hey, Justin, thanks for talking with us. What's it like to get Will Parks back on the team as a friend, teammate, and on the football field?
Yeah, it's great, man. I know we had the last thing I remember is we played Oakland or the Raiders at home last year, the last game of the season, and we exchanged jerseys. And it's just like you never know what's going to happen moment. He could be here next year, he could not. On both of our ends, and so it's just like, okay, well, this is going to be special. This is a guy that I came in with, spent a lot of time with, and so unfortunate what happened in Philly, but selfishly, I'm really happy he's back here and have the opportunity to close out the season with us because he's a great player. And I think more importantly, just like I said, selfishly for me, he's an even better friend, and having him around like the past 4 years has just been awesome. So I'm really excited for him to be back.
Next one, Troy. Troy, your line should be unmuted, bud.
Yeah, unmuted now. Justin, congrats on your foundation and the My Cleats, My Cause. Really cool, my man. regarding, have you thought at all about the Pro Bowl after last year's snub? I mean, you're one of the rare guys that makes all pro and no Pro Bowl. Do you think about it at all? And does it motivate you as these final 5 games to really finish strong and could end up putting up your best season?
Yeah, thanks for the comment at the foundation, Troy. And I don't think about it too much. You know, obviously, like last year, you know, at the end of the season, you know, it kind of, you know, it definitely stunk. You know, not making the Pro Bowl, but you know, not even making alternate. I think, you know, kind of putting that in perspective. But then, you know, the pick me up on the back end of that was, you know, being named an All-Pro player, and I think All-Pro is a little bit more prestigious anyways. But at the end of the day, you know, this year, am I focused on it? No, not really. Obviously, like, I'm focused on making as many plays as I can, and more importantly, you know, trying to find ways to win on Sundays, because that's the biggest thing. And so I think focusing on trying to win and making the plays that come to me, you know, when they come, those that will take care of itself, right? With the recognition and people seeing your play and things of that nature. So there's nothing to harp on, because it's ultimately out of my control in terms of, like, you know, in terms of like how to get in there. I just got to be able to do it on my end and make the plays that come to me and be able to continue to make plays. And like I said, it'll take care of itself. So.
Final 2, Eric and Andrew. Go ahead, Eric.
Justin, how much is being in this defense for a second year allowed you to kind of anticipate where to go on some of these plays? Like against the Dolphins, you had that one where you came over to pick it off. Just, I guess, how have your instincts and your knowledge of the defense kind of meshed together here?
It's definitely helped, you know, being year 2 in the system, and it's been great. I think it's been great, but I also think, you know, in the same breath, like, it's been a tremendous challenge too, you know, not only for myself, but, you know, for Kareem and some of the other guys. You know, we've had, and it's not an excuse, but it's just, I always say it's not an excuse, but it's just a reality. Like, you know, a lot of injuries, you know, on the D line, and, you know, obviously Vaughn being out. We've had corners that have been, you know, rotated out throughout the year just due to injuries and other things like that. And so I've mentioned all year that the communication has had to be, you know, has to be like that much better than even it was last year. And so that's been a challenge, you know, throughout the season, is just, you know, the communicative process. And, you know, at the end of the day, like when you have certain guys in, they're able to kind of take some plays off you and make more plays on their end. And I think we've done a great job of kind of rallying and finding the guys. And we've had guys make a lot of plays, especially over the last couple of weeks, and especially in the sack department. So it's been great, but it's also been a challenge. And so I'm just really looking forward to having the guys that are in there now, closing out the last, you know, 5 games of the season really strong, starting obviously this Sunday with the Chiefs, which is a big task, and kind of seeing where we go from there.
Final one, Andrew.
Justin, obviously this past Sunday, it was a game unlike really any team in the NFL has faced in decades. So from the defensive side, what was that experience like, knowing that unfortunately on the offense probably weren't going to get much help because of the circumstances that happened at quarterback?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I just want to make sure I'm mindful of my words. I don't want to say anything I'm going to regret. But from a defensive standpoint, it was tough because, like you said, you know, it is what it is. You don't make an excuse, but we have a, you know, practice squad wide receiver bumped up to play quarterback. And obviously he has quarterback experience in college. And, you know, for anyone out there that thinks it's easy enough to just, you know, transition, I think Sunday proved that it's not, especially against one of the better defenses in the league. And so from a defensive standpoint, like, you know, we were playing the game, right? As we were, you know, we found out from Vic, we were still going to play the game. And so from a defensive standpoint, you don't go in there with a losing mindset, but you got to find ways to win the game. And, you know, for us, it's like, you know, we got to be aggressive, at least with what we're doing. Obviously their game plan was to run the ball a little bit more, and, you know, we got one takeaway, obviously not nearly enough, but we had to find ways to get more takeaways, and we knew punch outs were going to be the thing, and we just didn't do a good job of taking away the ball. the Saints so we could at least give ourselves a shot on offense with a short field. I know I say that all the time, but it really is a big emphasis on the game of football and being able to set your offense up. So that was kind of like our mindset on defense is, hey, it sucks, we're in this position, but why not make history? Why not make the best of it and try and find a way to win the game?